She accused me of cheating to win the argument, but her own phone unlocked with a message from another guy. When people ask how it started, I always hesitate. Because the truth is there wasn't one big glaring red flag. No screaming match in public, no infidelity, at least on my end. No betrayal that smacked me in the face from the beginning. It started quietly, subtle, like a tiny crack in the wall of something you thought was solid, only to realize much later that the whole thing was already hollow inside. We met the way most people do now, on a dating app. I wasn't looking for anything serious at first, but Carly caught my attention immediately. Her photos weren't overly filtered. Her bio was clever without trying too hard. And when we finally met for coffee, she had that rare kind of energy that makes a room tilt in her direction. She was sharp, confident, and had this laugh that made you want to keep saying stupid things just to hear it again. The beginning was great, genuinely great. We moved in together after a year of dating. Maybe a little fast by some standards, but it felt right. We shared playlists, grocery lists, future vacation ideas, and our silly little rituals like Sunday pancakes and movie marathons with popcorn burned to a crisp because she always forgot it in the microwave. That was Carly, chaotic in the best way, and I loved her. But things began to shift around month 4 of living together. At first, it was minor stuff. She'd get moody when I worked late, even if I texted to let her know. She started asking about women at work more frequently. Who's Tasha? Why does she react to your stories? And while I thought it was just insecurity at first, it slowly evolved into something more pointed. Her phone was always on silent, always face down. She changed her lock screen from PIN to Face ID and never left it unattended, not even in the shower. I joked once that she guarded her phone like it was the launch code to a missile. She laughed it off and said, "You should try being a woman on social media." Still, I didn't press her. Maybe I should have. But when you love someone, you want to believe their quirks are just that. Quirks, not warnings. Then came the gaslighting. I didn't recognize it as that back then. Arguments would start over nothing, like me not putting the almond milk back in the fridge or forgetting to close a tab on my laptop. Then suddenly she'd say something like, "I just don't feel emotionally safe around you," or "I don't trust that you're being fully honest with." It always caught me off guard. Because I was honest. I was loyal to a fault, and I'd try to explain, try to fix whatever invisible wound she was pointing to, but the more I tried, the more I felt like I was arguing against smoke. One night she accused me of deleting messages from someone named Jess. I had no idea who that was. After 10 minutes of confusion and trying to piece together what she even meant, it turned out Jess was a girl who had commented a laughing emoji on one of my old Facebook posts from years ago. Carly claimed that I must have messaged her and then deleted the thread. I remember sitting there, stunned, staring at her while she flipped through my Messenger app like she was defusing a bomb. And she genuinely looked heartbroken. But not because she thought I cheated, no, because she wanted me to admit to something I didn't do. It was like she needed the win, needed to be right. We went to sleep without resolving it. I say sleep, but neither of us really did. She turned her back to me, phone clutched in her hands. I stared at the ceiling for hours, wondering what the hell just happened. It was the first time I felt alone while lying next to her. Things got better for a few days after that, as they always did. She'd come home with my favorite snacks, kiss me on the neck when I wasn't expecting it, leave little sticky notes that said things like, "You're my peace," and "Stupid me." I ate it up. Because that's the thing about emotional manipulation. It doesn't come with a neon sign. It comes in waves. A withdrawal followed by a flood of affection, enough to make you question your own instincts. The next time she picked a fight, it was because I looked too happy talking to the waitress at brunch. "Were you flirting with her?" she asked as soon as we got into the car. I laughed. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. "I saw the way you smiled at her," she said, crossing her arms. "Like you wanted her to notice you." I tried to de-escalate. Told her I was just being polite, that I smiled the same way at the barista or the UPS guy. She didn't budge. Said I always had an excuse. Said it was disrespectful. That argument ended with her crying in the bathroom and me apologizing for something I didn't even do. That was the rhythm now. Accusation. Denial. Tears. Apology. Temporary peace. Repeat. And through it all, I still loved her. Because love doesn't vanish just because things get hard. Love, real love, makes you stay longer than you should. Makes you excuse things you swore you'd never tolerate. Makes you forget that trust isn't supposed to feel like a trial every single day. I didn't know it yet, but I was being set up. Gaslit. Conditioned to believe I was the unstable one. Until the night she picked a fight she thought she'd win. And her own lie walked right into the room, glowing on her lock screen. But we're not there yet. We're still in the quiet before the storm. Still in the part where I thought I was the problem. still hoping things would go back to what they used to be. Spoiler, they never did. It happened on a Thursday night. We'd both had long days. She came home tense, her laptop still in her bag, makeup half smudged from rubbing her eyes. I was on the couch, scrolling through job listings. I was looking to switch companies. Something she knew stressed me out more than I let on. I barely looked up when she walked in. I should have known better. She didn't say hi, just stood in the doorway, staring at me like I'd committed some unspoken sin. "Were you even going to ask how my day was?" she said. I blinked. I was just about to— "Forget it," she cut me off, dropping her keys with more force than necessary. I closed my laptop. "Carly, what's going on?" She dropped her bag on the floor and crossed her arms. "You've been distant. For weeks. You barely look at me anymore." I tried not to sigh. "That's not true. Don't gaslight." The irony. I swallowed the lump forming in my throat. She sat down across from me, pulling her legs up like a kid about to confess something. But what she said wasn't confession. It was a weapon. "I think you're cheating on me," she said flatly. Silence. I thought I misheard her. I stared at her for a full 5 seconds, waiting for the punchline. None came. I laughed, nervously, softly. "What?" "You heard me." "Carly, what the hell are you talking about?" She tilted her head. "You're always on your phone. You've been texting someone." I saw a notification. "You mean the group chat with Mike and Jordan about fantasy football?" She rolled her eyes. "Don't play dumb. You close your apps as soon as I walk in. You don't let me near your phone any—" That part hit me sideways. Because she was the one who never let her phone leave her hand. She was the one who locked it with Face ID. She was the one who took it into the bathroom and even the closet when she changed. I left mine face up on the coffee table, ringer on. Always. "Do you want to see my phone?" I asked quietly. She paused. I could see the hesitation she didn't expect me to offer. I handed it to her, unlocked. "Go ahead." Look, she did. She spent the next 10 minutes scrolling through my messages, emails, photo album, even my notes app. She was breathing heavily, like she wanted to find something. But there was nothing to find. Eventually, she tossed it back to me. "You deleted it all. Are you serious?" My voice was rising now. "You think I have the time or the energy to delete an imaginary affair every day? You're hiding something." "I know it." "Carly," I said, standing now. "This is insane." She stood too. "Don't raise your voice at me. I'm just trying to figure out where this is coming from. Why do you keep doing this? Every week it's something new. Some new theory, some new paranoia. I haven't done anything to make you think I'd cheat on." Her lips trembled. "I don't feel safe with you." That sentence shut me up. It hit like a punch to the gut. The worst part? She said it with the exact kind of calm you save for courtrooms or HR meetings, like she'd practiced it in the mirror. "You don't feel safe," I echoed. She nodded. "Emotionally. I feel like I have to walk on eggshells." That was rich. I was the one apologizing for smiling at waitresses. I was the one monitoring my tone, filtering every word I said just to avoid setting her off. I was the one walking on eggshells so thin, I didn't even realize I was bleeding. I sat back down. "I don't know what you want from me, and I want honest. I've only ever been honest." She wiped at her eyes. I wasn't even sure if she was crying or just trying to look like she was. "I think we need to take a break." That sentence landed heavier than I expected. My stomach dropped, but some small buried part of me, one I didn't want to acknowledge, felt relieved. Still, I didn't want to give up on us. Not like this. "I don't want to break," I said. "I want to fix this. I want to understand you." She stared at me, and for a second I thought I saw it. The real her, vulnerable, exhausted, just as tired as I was. But it faded as quickly as it appeared. "I'm going to stay at my sister's for a few days," she said. I nodded slowly. "Okay." She didn't pack much. Just a tote bag and her makeup. No goodbye hug, no kiss. Just walked out like she'd been planning it all week. I sat there, staring at the dent her body left on the couch, wondering if this was the beginning of the end. Wondering if it had ended already and I just hadn't been notified. She came back 3 days later. No apology. No explanation. Just waltzed in like nothing had happened, dropped her bag, and kissed my cheek like she'd gone to the store. "I missed you," she said. I didn't know what to say. Part of me missed her too. The her I used to know. The Carly that danced barefoot in the kitchen and whispered dumb jokes into my neck. But this version of her, the one who left, accused, and returned like a queen reclaiming her throne, I didn't recognize her anymore. We slept in the same bed that night, backs turned, breath held. And I didn't touch her, not because I didn't want to, but because something was breaking, quietly, beneath the surface. And the worst part? I still wanted to believe it could be fixed. It had been about a week since she came back. Things were fine, at least on the surface. We were both doing that dance people do when they're pretending the fight didn't happen. Overly polite, overly quiet, overly fake. I started waking up before her and going to bed after her just to avoid the silence that hovered when we were in the same room. But I kept telling myself, this is just a rough patch. Every couple has them. If we can just push through this, maybe we'll find each other again. I even planned a small surprise. Friday night dinner at her favorite Thai place. Nothing huge, just something to say. I'm still trying. But Thursday came first. She'd gone out for drinks with her friend Naomi after work, and I stayed in. I watched TV, reheated leftover pasta, scrolled on my phone. Around 9:30 p.m., I heard the front door unlock. She came in laughing, too loudly, considering she claimed she was only going out for one drink. Her eyes were glassy, cheeks flushed, tipsy. "Hey, babe," she said, kicking her shoes off, wobbling a bit. "Hey," I replied, standing to help her with her bag. "Good night?" "The best," she said. Naomi and I just vented about everything. It was exactly what I needed. She hugged me. Her perfume was different. Stronger, muskier, like someone else's cologne had clung to her. "You okay?" I asked, pulling back slightly. She looked at me, blinking. "Yeah, why?" "You smell different," she giggled, probably from the bar. Everyone was packed in like sardines. I didn't press. I just nodded, let it slide. We sat down on the couch and put on some show neither of us cared about. She was scrolling through her phone the whole time, fingers moving fast, screen tilted slightly away from me. I glanced over a couple times, catching flashes of her keyboard, Instagram DMs. A WhatsApp conversation she exited quickly. "Who you texting?" I asked casually. She didn't even look up. Just Naomi. Talking about tomorrow. That should have been the end of it. But then she dropped her phone. It wasn't dramatic. It just slipped from her hand and landed face up between us on the couch. And as fate, or karma, would have it, that exact moment a notification popped up. From someone saved as Zach Jim. "Last night was amazing. Same time Thursday?" Time slowed. I felt my chest tighten, brain trying to make sense of it. I didn't say anything at first. Just stared at the screen, then at her. Her eyes locked onto the message. I watched every second of recognition, panic, calculation. She reached for the phone. I grabbed it first. "Who's Zach?" I asked. My voice was low, too calm. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears. She blinked. "What?" "No one. He's just a guy from the gym. Probably meant to message someone else." "Really?" I tilted the phone toward her. "Because this doesn't sound like a mistake." She tried to laugh, light and breathy. "Come on, Max, don't do this." But I was already unlocking her phone with her face. It registered instant. "Max, stop," she said, standing now. "That's my privacy." I didn't stop. What I found hit me like a freight train. Texts, dozens of them. Some deleted, others not. Flirty messages, inside jokes, photos, dates, references to nights they'd spent together while she was supposedly at Naomi's. Mentions of things we didn't even do together. "You looked so good in that dress. I can still taste your lipstick. You make me feel like I can breathe again." I couldn't read any. I looked up at her. "How long?" She crossed her arms. "I don't owe you an answer. You accused me of cheating. You called me a liar. You said you didn't feel safe around me. And this was happening the entire time?" Her jaw was clenched. "You were emotionally unavailable. You pushed me away. What did you expect?" I laughed. I actually laughed. "So this is my fault now? You never paid attention to me. You were always working, always distracted. I was working so we could afford this apartment. So we could go to Europe like you wanted. So you could quit your job next year if you hated it. You said you needed stability. I was trying to be that." She didn't respond. "Why didn't you just break up with me?" I asked, quieter this time. "Why drag me through all this? I didn't know what I wanted." "Number EFE, you did know. You just didn't want to look like the bad guy." She finally lost it. "You're not perfect either," she shouted. "You shut down when we fight. You never say what you feel. You make me feel like I'm crazy all the time because you gaslight me," I said coldly. "You flipped every argument. You cried your way out of accountability. And now I know why." She stood there, breathing hard. No more excuses. Just the two of us in silence, surrounded by everything she couldn't lie her way out of. "You need to leave," I said. "What?" "Pack your things. Tonight." "Max, don't do this. We can talk." "No, we've talked enough. I want you gone." She tried to cry again, but it didn't hit the same. Not this time. The mask was off. She left with her phone, a tote bag, and the same perfume that no longer smelled like her. And I stood there, alone in the apartment we built together, wondering how long I'd been sleeping beside a stranger. The first 24 hours after she left were quiet, unnervingly quiet. No calls, no texts, no door slamming, no tears. Just silence. And a faint trace of her perfume still clinging to the bedroom pillows. I spent that night pacing, not sleeping, just thinking, playing every moment in reverse like some broken tape, the accusations, the deflections, the gaslighting, the message from Zach, over and over again, trying to pinpoint the exact second when she stopped being my girlfriend and started becoming my accuser. The next morning, the storm came. It started with a phone call from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Then another. Then a text. "You're seriously disgusting. I can't believe what you did to her." I frowned. The message was from her best friend, Emily. We'd been to brunch together dozens of times. She'd hugged me when Carly and I first moved in, even helped us paint the living room. I replied, "What exactly do you think I did? Don't play innocent." She told me everything. How you controlled her, gaslit her, tracked her location and threatened her with photos. I always knew there was something off about you. I stared at the screen, numb. My throat went dry. Photos? Tracking her? What the hell was she talking about? 10 minutes later, Carly posted a healing update on her Instagram story. Just a white background with cursive text. "Sometimes you think you know someone until they show you who they really are. To anyone in a toxic relationship, please know, it's not your fault. You're not alone. You can heal. Freedom. Finally, healing." The message was vague, but the comments weren't. People were messaging her with hearts, "proud of you" messages, even "he deserves nothing," and "you're so brave." I didn't even know most of these people, but the damage had already begun. By noon, I had a missed call from HR. Apparently, someone had submitted a concerned anonymous report about harassment and emotional abuse connected to my name. I nearly dropped my phone when I read the email. My hands were shaking. I had a meeting scheduled the following Monday to clarify the situation. Until then, they expected me to work remotely. I sat in my apartment, blinds closed, heart racing. This couldn't be real. She was painting herself as the victim, not just to her friends, not just to social media, but to my employer, my job. My entire reputation was now at risk because she got caught cheating and couldn't handle the consequences. She wasn't just saving face, she was burning mine. I texted her once. Just once. "You're seriously telling people I abused you? After everything you did?" She didn't reply. But I knew she saw it. I watched the scene indicator pop up and disappear. That little gray word felt like a slap across the face. That night, I scrolled through every message we ever exchanged. I wasn't just grieving the relationship. I was questioning everything. Did she ever love me? Were the sweet moments real? Or were they just strategic resets between manipulation cycles? I called Jordan, my closest friend, and told him everything. To my surprise, he believed me instantly. "Dude," he said, "I always thought something was weird about the way she talked to you, but I didn't want to step on toes." "She's telling everyone I'm an abuser," I said quietly. "Then you need to start documenting everything." And so I did. I began screenshotting texts, not just the ones from Carly, but from her friends, her stories, even old messages where she joked about getting away with things, or blatantly twisting the truth for sympathy. I found an old text from 4 months ago where she said, "If we ever break up, I swear everyone's taking my side. You're too quiet to fight back, LOL." At the time, I laughed. Now I just stared at it like it was a prophecy. But the wildest twist came 2 days later. A guy named Zach messaged me. That Zach. His profile was locked, private. But the message came through. "Hey man, I just found out about everything. I had no idea you two were still together. Carly told me she was single and just getting out of a long-term toxic thing. She made it sound like she was healing from some monster. I'm sorry. If I'd known, I never would have touched her." I just sat there reading it over and over. She lied to him too. Played him like she played me. I replied, "Thanks for saying that. She's good at rewriting history," he responded. "If you ever need a statement or something, let me know. I feel like a complete idiot." That night, I sat in front of my laptop and began writing it all out. Not for social media. Not for revenge. For clarity. For my sanity. For the people who'd only heard one version of the truth. I wasn't going to let her rewrite me out of my own story. I still hadn't spoken to her directly. And I didn't plan to. Because if there's one thing I learned the hard way, it's that some people don't want resolution. They want domination. They don't want closure. They want a stage. And I was done performing. The apartment still smelled like her shampoo. I'd tried everything. New sheets, candles, even airing out the bedroom for 2 straight days. But some smells cling like memories, and hers wasn't ready to leave yet. But I couldn't live in the wreckage of someone else's lies any longer. It had been a week since Carly's carefully constructed healing journey went live, and I could feel the shift in the air. Her version of events was slowly becoming the version of events in the eyes of everyone who didn't know me well enough to question it. Friends stopped texting. My cousin asked if I was doing okay mentally. I even saw someone from her friend group cross the street to avoid me outside a grocery store. She hadn't just broken up with me, she'd erased me and replaced me with a villain. So I did what I never thought I'd have to do. I defended myself publicly. I didn't want to. God knows I didn't want to air dirty laundry. But when people start whispering that you're dangerous, when HR puts you on investigative hold, when your landlord says someone reported yelling in your unit when it was her throwing dishes, what choice do you have? I opened a blank document and titled it, The Truth. It started simply. I laid out the timeline. When we met. How long we dated. When we moved in together. I attached screenshots. Texts where she thanked me for being so patient. Messages where she called me her emotional support system. Jokes about her flirting with Zach behind my back that I never took seriously at the time. I didn't use insults. I didn't throw mud. I just told the truth. And at the end, I included the one screenshot that said everything. Her text to me from 4 months prior. If we ever break up, I swear everyone's taking my side. You're too quiet to fight back, LOL. Then I clicked post. It wasn't a thread. It wasn't a rant. Just one quiet, well-organized post on my personal Facebook and my private Instagram. For friends, family, and the dozens of mutuals who had watched Carly's version take over their feeds. I expected a few likes, maybe 1 or 2 private messages. What I got was an avalanche. People I hadn't spoken to in years messaged me saying, I always thought something was off about her. A mutual friend admitted Carly tried to get her to unfollow me. Even Naomi, her supposed ride or die, DM'd me and said, I didn't know about Zach. She told me you were cheating. She wasn't defending Carly anymore. No one was. And then, as if on cue, I got a message from her. Just one line. So this is who you are now? I didn't answer. She sent another. You're making me look insane. I stared at that one for a long time. Because she didn't say I was lying. She didn't even deny it. Her only concern was how she looked. It was always about control. I muted her number. Not blocked. Muted. I wanted a record. Just in case. A few days later, HR cleared me. Said the anonymous report was unsubstantiated, that there was no credible evidence. They reinstated me fully and thanked me for my professionalism throughout. I wanted to scream, cry, laugh. But all I did was close my laptop, lean back in my chair, and breathe for the first time in weeks. There's something strange about reclaiming your voice after someone's tried to bury it. You feel powerful and shattered at the same time. Because while the world might now know the truth, you're still sitting in the ruins of what used to be your home. I started going for long walks again, deleted old photos, unfollowed mutuals who'd believed her too quickly. I moved the furniture around, bought new sheets, changed my cologne. She tried calling once more, this time from a blocked number. I didn't answer. Instead, I adopted a dog, a rescue mutt named Ollie with anxious eyes and a crooked tail. We were both a little broken, but we were healing in our own quiet way. And then, just when I thought it was over, her name popped up one last time. But not through a message. This time, it was her showing up at my door. I didn't answer the door at first. I saw her through the peephole, standing there like she used to when she'd forget her keys, head tilted, arms crossed, wearing that same red sweater she knew I liked. For a moment, I almost opened it out of muscle memory, but I didn't. She knocked again. Not frantically, not angrily, just a soft, familiar rhythm. Max, she called, her voice muffled through the door. I just want to talk, Ollie barked once from the hallway. I told him it was okay, even though it wasn't. I opened the door halfway, kept the chain locked. Carly looked like she hadn't slept. Eyes puffy, makeup smudged, hair pulled back like she hadn't bothered to brush it. She smiled weakly when she saw me. Can we talk? She asked. I stared at her for a long moment before answering. Talk about what? Her smile faltered. I didn't come to fight. I nodded. Good. Because I'm done fighting. She looked down at her hands. Everyone's turned on me. I didn't respond. She looked up again. You didn't have to humiliate me. I almost laughed. I didn't humiliate you, I said. You did that yourself. She shifted uncomfortably. I was angry. I was scared. I didn't plan for it to go that far. Carly, you accused me of things that could have ruined my career. You lied to our friends. You told people I abused you. I thought you were cheating, she snapped, then caught herself. I convinced myself of it. I felt so disconnected from you, and I didn't know how to fix it. So you burned everything down? I panicked, she said softly. And once the story was out there, It was easier to just lean into it. She said it like it was a bad haircut, a regrettable tattoo, not a months-long campaign of calculated destruction. I didn't expect Zach to message you, she added. That was the moment I knew. It wasn't about remorse. It was about damage control. You're not sorry, I said. You're just sorry it didn't work. She flinched. Do you want me to say I was wrong? She asked. No, I replied. I want you to leave. She blinked, tears forming now. Real or not, I couldn't tell anymore. I didn't care. I really did love you, she whispered. I looked her straight in the eyes. You loved what I gave you. You loved the comfort, the stability, the way I always took the blame. But me? You didn't love me. You loved being the center of the story. She wiped her face, sniffling. I just want to start over. You burned the bridge, Carly. You don't get to cross it again. She looked away. So that's it? That's it. I closed the door. Didn't slam it. Didn't lock it dramatically. Just closed it. I stood there for a long time after, listening to her footsteps retreat down the hall, waiting for the tears to come. But they didn't. I wasn't angry. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't anything. I was free. The days that followed were quiet in a different way. Not the aching silence of grief, but peace. I got back to work, reconnected with old friends, took Ollie on longer walks, bought new bookshelves, cooked real meals again. Slowly, I started reclaiming the life I'd been shrinking inside for months. I still get the occasional message from someone asking if I'm doing better. I always say yes, because I am. Not because I found someone new. Not because Carly apologized or tried again. Not because I got revenge. But because I told the truth, and I stood by it. People think the worst part of being lied about is the lie itself. It's not. The worst part is wondering if people will believe you when you tell the truth. I told it anyway, and I'd do it again, even if it cost me everything. Because what I got in return, my peace, my voice, my clarity, was worth more than any relationship built on guilt and fear. Carly was but I'm still standing, and I'm finally dry.